What's going on, everyone? Between the tariffs, the stock market roller coaster, and the election, there's a lot of forces at play right now on Victoria's real estate market. But I'm happy to report, so far at least, Victoria's market is actually weathering the storm and doing pretty well, all things considered. Buyers still have some cash, they're still making moves and buying homes. In fact, sales are up since this time last year. We're one of the few markets in Canada that's seeing strong sales numbers and even median home price increases. There's a few interesting hyperlocal trends I want to touch on first, and then we'll discuss why Victoria is performing so well compared to the rest of Canada, and maybe get some ideas if this trend will continue. First off, inventory. If you think there's a lot of for sale signs right now in Victoria, you're not wrong. There's over 3,000 listings on MLS right now, which is 14% more than this time last year. You have to go way back to 2015 to see these kind of inventory levels. So you'd think as a buyer then you get your pick of the litter with all these homes for sale. Well, that's not necessarily true. It all depends on what kind of home you're looking at. For example, if you're buying a detached home, don't expect any bargains out there. It's multiple offers, sometimes unconditional offers. Here's one in Maplewood that just sold $100,000 over ask. This one went $50,000 over ask near Mount Doug. This one in Brentwood Bay also over asking, and dozens of other homes either selling quickly at asking price or just a bit above. Saanich and Oak Bay continue to be the hottest areas, but this is across the board. And if you go out to Langford and the West Shore, you can find new construction homes that have been sitting on the market for months. They're now getting snapped up as well. By the way, regardless of who wins the election, both candidates are pushing for GST breaks on new homes, which will almost certainly put some upward pressure on this kind of product as well. It's the same story with townhomes. They're in high demand, and there's been a handful that have sold $5,000 or $10,000 over asking price. And if we look back a year ago, that just wasn't happening. Almost everything was going below asking price. The condo market is performing the weakest, but all things considered, it's still doing a lot better than this time last year. If you're selling anything downtown, it's just going to take longer to sell. If it's an older building, you have to price in special assessments and all the work that the building needs. Finding all my buyers, and rightfully so, are hyper vigilant now on depreciation reports and insurance documents. Over the last few months, I've looked through dozens of depreciation reports of buildings from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And most of them are pretty scary. There's a lot of financial ticking time bombs in terms of remediation needed for some of these buildings. So as a buyer or even as a seller, take a look at these reports and know exactly what you're either buying and know what you're selling, so you're not surprised when a buyer does bring these issues forward. This is purely anecdotal, but one thing I've noticed with all my listings is we've had an initial rush of showings and offers in the first few days of listing, and then complete silence. Crickets. It seems like there's two groups of buyers out there. First, we have the have to buy camp who perhaps just moved to Victoria, or maybe their lease is ending, or their family has just grown. Whatever the reason, they're feeling the need to buy fast, and they do so in a rather carefree way. They're happy to pay asking price. They'll just kind of pay whatever price to get the home. Then there's the second group who are fine to wait. They want to try a lowball offer, and they'll nickel and dime the seller after every single inspection point. As a seller, you want the first buyer. The second one is zero fun. So price your home correctly to create a bit of a sense of urgency. Do not allow your listing to sit in the market for too long. We're not quite at the point of delaying offers on every single kind of home, but you can still list a little bit strategically with the pricing here to try and move your home as fast as possible. This is nothing new. This has been true in real estate for a long time, but it really matters now when people are really divided by watching this up and down news cycle we have with all the economic uncertainty we're being hit with. I feel like people are either in one camp or another. There's nothing in between. COVID really split the market like that as well. Panic buying on one side with fears of inflation and that prices are going to go up, and then panic selling on the other side with fears that the sky is falling and the world is ending. And we really have this very divisive mindset with the buyers right now in Victoria. Looking at the rest of the country, Victoria is perhaps the most stable market in Canada right now. Our sales are up 4.3% since this time last year. Toronto sales are down 23%, with median prices down in all segments. Calgary sales are down 90%, with prices pretty much flat. And across the water in Vancouver, they're down 13% year over year, with prices also down. Why does Victoria continue to perform so well? First off, we have the lowest unemployment rate in Canada at 3.4%. We have lots of stable government jobs. Our tech industry is strong. We're not manufacturing cars or energy or anything that gets exported to the US. And personally, I think we're going to see a boom in tourism from the rest of Canada over the next few years as well, as people cancel their trips to the States, either for political reasons or just the cost of it, and look to try and spend more time in Canada. A new report just came out ranking the most economically resilient cities in BC, and Vancouver Island is home to 3 of them. They're actually not cities, they're municipalities in Victoria, but that doesn't matter. They still made the top 3. One point I would love to hear your feedback on is the rental market in Victoria right now. I'm hearing a lot of anecdotal reports that prices are dropping, it's cooling off. Let me know what your experience is. If you're a landlord, are you still getting lots of applications? If you're a renter, are you having an easier or harder time finding a place right now? What are you seeing out there? Please let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.